What do you think of when you hear the word communication? Perhaps you think of this class and public speaking. Perhaps you think of ways you would like to improve the way you talk to people. Or maybe you even think that you are pretty good at communicating your thoughts and feelings through words. However, there is a very important aspect of communication that many of us forget about, and that is the art of listening. Listening is actually the most important aspect of communication. First, I want to explain some reasons why listening is such an important aspect of communication and our relationships in general. Then, I would like to share some tips to help you become a better listener. As we become better listeners, we will come to know people better. Our love for them will grow, and our relationships with them will be strengthened. A quote by Marvin J. Ashton explains, "Listening is more than being quiet. Listening is much more than silence. Listening requires undivided attention. The time to listen is when someone needs to be heard. The time to deal with a person with a problem is when he or she has the problem. The time to listen is the time when our interest and love are vital to the one who seeks our ear, our heart, our help, and our empathy." We should all increase our ability to ask comfortable questions and then listen intently, naturally. Listening is a tied-in part of loving. How powerful are the words, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath." As human beings, one of the most important things we need to feel is validated, that we are important, and the best way to help a person feel this way is by listening and really hearing them. So, now the question is, how can we become better listeners? A good place to start is by learning the method of reflective listening. Reflective listening is an effective method of listening when someone is going through something difficult, or feeling strong emotion, or is looking for you to help them solve a problem. Here are the steps. First, reflect back what you're hearing them say by saying phrases such as, "So, what I'm hearing you say is," or "that must make you feel," or "if I'm hearing you right, it sounds as if." The next thing you want to do is label the emotion that you're hearing by saying phrases like, "You sound really upset. That must make you feel very angry." The next thing you need to do is validate what they are feeling by saying something like, "Anyone in this situation would feel frustrated, sad, angry." Next, you need to compliment them by saying a phrase like, "I'm impressed by the way you're handling this." After you've gone through these steps, the person that you're talking to will be more inclined to focus on the problem at hand, and that's what you need to do. You need to go straight to what the problem is, and then you can help them solve it, come up with some solutions. I'd like to share a personal experience that happened with my own family and my attempt to try some reflective listening. This is my daughter, Emily. She is a student at the University of Utah, and she had a pretty big problem. At the very last minute, her housing fell through. She was feeling extremely frustrated and angry. My son Jack lives in Utah, and it was the natural and logical person to help her in this situation. This is my son Jack. Out of desperation, Jack helped Emily move into a home that was not the best choice. Jack and Emily were both frustrated, and they became very angry with one another, and they both called me. Emily felt that Jack had put a lot of pressure on her to move into this not-so-ideal place, and Jack felt that Emily was acting very ungrateful. They both called me and said things like, "I'm done with her, and I will never speak to him again." I had just learned these steps to reflective listening and decided to put them into practice. So first I validated their emotions and their frustrations. I complimented each of them on how they were trying to solve the problem. And then I restated what the problem was and helped them focus on what we needed to come up with for solutions. It worked. And now, they're friends again. In closing, let me share a few quotes with you about the importance of having edifying communications. Elder Ballard said, "Nothing is more important to the relationship between family members than open, honest communication." And this is another one of my favorites. Heavenly Father has given us a priceless gift in our capacity to communicate with each other. Our communications are at the core of our relationships with others. If we are to return home safely to Heavenly Father, we must develop righteous relationships with His children here in mortality. Our communications reflect in our countenance. Therefore, we must be careful not only what we communicate, but how we do so. Souls can be strengthened. These are powerful words that should make us all sit up and really listen.